Hi there, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Generation Tech, and welcome to 2021. 2020 will be a year that none of us will ever forget because it was a pretty difficult one. For starters, we lost a lot of good people to this pandemic, and we lost even more because of the shutdowns that followed. But also, in the face of so much fear and uncertainty, we all simplified our lives a little bit. We came to realize what was important in our lives and what wasn't. Like pants. I'm not wearing any. And haircuts. I did this with a beard trimmer. It looks terrible, that's why I have a hat on. And office buildings and work culture. Life is confusing enough without all of those additional rules on how you should act and behave while being a professional. We also finally realized which people were truly essential to human society, and surprise, it wasn't lawyers, financial advisors, or politicians. It was actually grocery store workers, delivery drivers, warehouse staff, nurses, doctors, and first responders. Most of these frontline workers never even signed up for a potentially life-threatening job, and oftentimes their pay was already quite low. But somehow, miraculously, so many decent, good, kind-hearted individuals decided to shoulder the burden that society had laid upon them. We don't hear these stories in the news quite as often, but the heroics of the every man and every woman were quite profound in 2020. And so to you, Steve, the grocer, I thank you for your service. I'm sorry you had to deal with those crazy assholes who thought it'd be funny to lick everything in the produce aisle. I'm sorry you got stressed out when hordes of Karens descended on your store and looted all the toilet paper and cleaning alcohol from your aisles. I'm sorry that this year, despite the fact that you went above and beyond the call of duty, that your salary most likely will not catch up to these massive and ridiculous increases in living costs. And I know you, Steve, the grocer, will just wave it all off and say that you're just doing your job. And I applaud you for it. But the reality is most Americans are actually like you, Steve. Good, honest, hardworking people who just want a purpose and a bit of freedom and financial stability. Heck, most people in the world want that same thing. It's extremely important to remember this because 2021 is not a solution for 2020. It's just another year. We're still going to be driven crazy by the media sensational headlines. We'll still have to deal with partisan politics and populist wackos screaming their heads off. We'll continue to have to wade through all that confirmation bias and straight up lies and propaganda being spewed out on social media. The reality is these people in charge benefit from our division. They benefit from chaos and feed off of our fear and anger. And we get so caught up fighting each other, we begin to ignore the actual people who are in charge of society, in charge of the media, in charge of politics, our country, the world, the economy. You see, the Republican from Texas does not actually have real beef with the Democrat from New York. But they both are going to be affected by the $3.3 trillion deficit this year that Democrats and Republicans both don't seem to want to talk about. This is money that undoubtedly will be borrowed from future generations and decrease the value of our hard-earned money. While we were so busy fighting each other, we allowed two 70-year-old men who don't have any future left really dictate the future course of our country. How many of these criminals have looted our government for personal and political gain that they will never have to answer to because they'll be long gone by the time the consequences of their actions are felt? The only thing we can actually do is realize that we are the majority in this society. These egomaniacs, psychopaths, drama kings, and attention whores are the minority. Just because someone is on the screen like this doesn't mean they're smarter or more powerful or more deserving of attention than you. It just means that they chose a weird profession, that's all. More importantly, their powers are given to them by the people who watch them. And it's time we take control back. And it all starts with the individual. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, should strive in 2021 to take more responsibility over our personal actions and our country. This is the year where we should all do an audit over our own beliefs, be honest, find our own biases, admit to our own mistakes and ignorance. We all know that the world of politics and the media is unfortunately dirty and messed up beyond comprehension. But we also have to be honest with ourselves that this rule does not just apply to the other political party or the other media that you don't support. Your own political party and your own media is a part of the problem too. The reality is there aren't just bad Democrats and good Republicans or vice versa. There are terrible people everywhere and also good, honest people everywhere as well. We the people are not fools, but perhaps we are too trusting and willing to join a side because it's comforting to know you're not alone in your beliefs. But don't let any group ever define you as an individual, because humanity benefits from a diversity of ideas and thoughts, even the really crazy and dangerous and controversial ones. We shouldn't be afraid of ideas, we shouldn't censor people and try to control everything, because fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to unnecessary suffering. So think well of your fellow man, believe that they have the intellectual capability to process information on their own and come to their own genuine conclusions. Believe that your individual action will matter, and that if you act like a decent human being, the people around you will much more likely become decent human beings. Believe in freedom, believe in humanity, because we are deserving of one another's trust. My name is Alan, and I love each and every one of you guys out there, even you, Steve. And I hope your 2021 is full of growth and positivity and just generally good things. Let's put 2020 behind us and strive for excellence.